I think that's a good segue to the number one risk on the list. We've been burying the lead here a bit. The number one risk is the U.S. political revolution. Why
Yeah.
did that get the top spot?
Well, because the US is the most powerful country and it has a incredibly revolutionary president. Trump is more consequential as a president, certainly than any president since FDR. And because FDR is the other most consequential president, we compared the two in the report. And, it turns out that in Trump's first year, he's done an awful lot more to break norms. He's done an awful lot more to limit the checks and balances on the executive and to politicize the administrative state. FDR tried to pack the court, expand it, he failed. He tried to purge his own Democratic Party, he failed. He did expand the power of the executive to a great degree, but he also institutionalized it so it wasn't in the control of a president. Trump is trying to do exactly the opposite, which makes him much more consequential if he is successful. And so the fact that this political revolution is underway, that Trump is driving it as a matter of priority because he feels like the US political system was weaponized against him by President Biden, leading to unprecedented 2 impeachments and felony charges and convictions and a near assassination, that is a matter of urgency for Trump, and it has immense importance around the world.
I know that when you're looking at President Trump's political revolution, you're not positive it will fail, but you're more confident it will fail over succeeding. You said one thing is for certain, though, in your report, that there's no going back to what came before. So when this political revolution is over, what does our political system look like after?
Well, I think it's going to be weaker. If I'm right that Trump will fail, then that means that he will have broken a bunch of norms and institutions that the next president will not have to be constrained by. And so, you might have, instead of the United States president ordering equity shares, and having more influence in promoting crypto companies, maybe it'll be, sustainable energy companies. But those, once you break those norms, they stay broken. And that will, and the next time a revolutionary president comes along, they'll be more likely to succeed. Now, I am not fully confident Trump will fail. I do think he'll fail, and I can say why. There are 3 reasons in increasing order of importance. The least important reason is because I think Trump will lose the House in midterm elections. And if that happens, I think that more Republicans will see him as a lame duck and start to publicly move away from some of his positions. That's the reason I'm least confident about. I'm slightly more confident about the checks and balances that are still in place, in particular the independent judiciary, which has prevented him from sending troops to Chicago, for example, which ended the political investigations of Letitia James and Jim Comey, for example, which are likely to constrain his tariff authority on IEEPA when the Supreme Court finally rules on that kind of thing. Also a professionalized military and a federal system with the states having a lot of power, including over how elections are actually run. But the reason that I am most confident that Trump will fail in his political revolution is that he lacks discipline. He is very impulsive. He's convinced he's right. And even though he thinks the Democrats are the leading enemy, he also gets distracted all the time. So, today it's the Democrats, tomorrow it's Greenland, the next day it's Venezuela. Like, if he really wanted a political revolution to succeed, he would focus laser-like on destroying the Democratic Party. He'd focus on, investigations against the people that are funding them and their core supporters. And he would want to ensure that he's able to use the power of the military to chill the ability of people to vote in blue states. This is why some of the supporters of Trump that have been calling for a monarchy or a one-party system are disappointed with him because they think he's a broken vessel. They think he's not really committed to being a revolutionary. He's not Steve Bannon. They're right. He's not. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize. He wants to be in the headlines every day. He's not really that committed to breaking the system. And ultimately, if you want to break the system, it's harder work than Trump is willing to put in. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than smart, is what I'm trying to say. And I think the Americans are experiencing that right now.